welcome to another episode of Eclectica, the different news. So today I have Dr. Rekha Rajeev with me. So let me just introduce to you all to Dr. Rekha. Dr. Rekha is a graduate in dental surgery from BS Dental College, Bangalore. Passing out in the year 2000, she has worked for 14 years in the hospital. Rekha started her private practice in 2013 at Alpha Dental. She is the chief dental surgeon at Alpha Dental. So if you have any problems, do visit Alpha Dental. Through the years of practice, Dr. Rekha felt the need for patient dental health education. She believes that a well-informed patient is capable of making the right treatment choices. So with that idea, the idea of the Dentaire came into fruitfulness when Dr. Rekha was accepted as a mentee to the prestigious Cherie Blair Foundation for Women Entrepreneurs. So this was in the year 2018. She is currently a mentee, alumni with the foundation and completing her second year in the program. www.thedentaire.com is her brainchild to increase oral and dental health awareness for public. Hashtag Tooth Talk with your dentist is the continuing dental education series for patient awareness that she runs in her YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social platforms. So, welcome, Dr. Rekha, and thank you for joining me today at Eclectica. It is a privilege to talk to you and a very motivated entrepreneur. As much personally, I know you from my side. Welcome to Eclectica.
Thank you, Dr. Gagi. Good morning to you and good morning to all my viewers. And I should also tell you that you are doing an amazing job in terms of promoting research in our country, especially in the field of dentistry. And thank you for having me today with you.
Yeah, so Dr. Rekha, let's go into our conversation. So, as from the same dental fraternity we belong, so I am not going to ask you anything about dentistry because that is something we always speak. But
Correct.
I would like to know how you keep yourself motivated, or what are your hobbies, so that people can follow such positive-minded people like you. People also can learn something from your hobbies. So, would you like to share those with us?
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for that. But I think we have a lot of positive people around the world. I mean, not going into again saying the current situation, but I think it's a pretty stressful situation we are in globally. And I think there are so many people, and because of whose positiveness, things are still moving in the right direction everywhere. Um, Having said that, of course, before I studied dentistry, I did have a lot of interests. I always like to draw, sketching, and a little later, I was interested to do baking. So I learned how to bake, and I do some amount of since my sister is did her course in fashion designing. I did also help her out to an extent. So I think some amount of, and also because my mom used to do a lot of embroidery, machine embroidery and hand embroidery. And because I think I have a little inclination towards fine arts, so I do a bit of stitching also. That's like, they're all like more
Fantastic.
like hobbies, hobbies as such. And since I have a background, my mom is again a singer. She conducts classes for kids, and my older sister again is a dancer. She's a choreographer. She's a performing artist. And since I was associated with all that during my childhood days, so I also got into light designing, the stage light designing for dance performances. So
Fantastic.
I think doing something other than dentistry, that is, of course, I'm not saying dentistry is not creative. I think dentistry is an amazing blend of art and science, because as you know, just doing a cavity or just doing a denture is no big deal. But then to have that keen eye about aesthetics and getting it right every time for each patient, because it's customized, again involves a lot of creativity and art. So I think every dentist that way, has a lot of creativity in them, is what I feel. But of course, since I grew up with all this, and since I had interest in so many things, so I try to pursue any of this whenever I can.
That's
And of course,
fantastic.
since right now we are in lockdown, we are not going out anywhere. I am not stepping out as such, but whenever I do find time, I go out biking with my biking buddies. So that's when I can. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm associated with one of the oldest riding clubs in mainland India, called the Rolling Thunder Motorcycling Club, the RTMC, and we have an amazing bunch of guys there. So so whenever it's possible, I go for rides with them.
oh, that's wonderful to know. I mean, so many things. So, what in one line I can just put that you are a very, very creative person. So, yes, and I think my next question would be related to your creativity only. So, as I was reading your profile, or as far as I know you personally, I just came to know about your endeavor of creating public health awareness regarding dental feet or educating people. So, can you tell us a little bit about the Dentaire journey and what exactly and how exactly you thought of doing this? Because this is something which is very unique and you do it very consistently. We know that.
Yeah. So thanks again for that. Generally, like, after my graduation, like how any other dental student, either gets into practice or pursues a PG. So I got into practice, and I was very fortunate to be associated with a hospital. Um, and I worked there for 14 years. I worked in the hospital, and it was almost during this time that my husband and a couple of his friends came up with this project on what you call as the Alpha clinics, and my dental was a part of this setup. So I did set up my practice there, Alpha Dental, and I think that was the first time I kind of saw a different way of going about doing your practice. That is, with the involvement of technology and all the other things. So it really fascinated me, to do something associated with technology. And of course, I had no clue at that time, how I had to do, what I had to do. So I kept pestering my husband. I said, you know what, you should give me ideas. So then finally he said that, since you're doing dentistry and dental education among public, it's something that is not found in our country as such. He said,
Absolutely.
why don't you start a blog? Why don't you start writing a blog about dental health education for the people? But since I didn't have the confidence at all, because I never thought I was good with essays and debates right from my school days, for the fact that I never won a prize in any of that, I would invariably forget something in between and come out. I would never complete my debate sessions. I could never complete my essays. So I never thought, I was good at writing. So I could not get myself to start a blog then. But somehow this idea of creating dental health awareness among people was always there in the back of my mind. And so in January 2018, when I accidentally bumped into one it was some post in one of the Facebook groups that I was going through. So that's where I bumped into this link, and then I said, "Hey, why not just apply? Just apply for this and see." And then I applied, and I got accepted for the program. So when I got accepted for the program, when I actually started thinking about, how this can come around, and the first thought that came to my mind was I should have an informative website first for a reference point for anybody to go to. So I said, okay, let me put up a website. And then I approached someone, he did a website for me. And I don't know, fortunately, unfortunately, in 3 months' time, that site crashed. It got hacked and the entire site crashed. And then I really did not know what to do. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I just started something and then it just seemed to just end right away. And I was literally, I was literally in tears. I said, what happened to my entire project? My dream project, what happened to it? But then I should really thank, some really amazing people in my life, like amazing friends, family. They all really supported me. They guided me on how things have to be done. And then Rajiv said, no, you should learn to do the website yourself. At first, I thought this is too much. You're asking the dentist to study about web designing. So, but then he was pretty adamant. No, unless you don't learn how to do it by yourself, you will never learn how to do things. So initially, I thought it was too much of a pressure. But then, of course, I very reluctantly, in fact, went to YouTube and I opened up, all the channels available, all the material available on web designing and all that. And believe me, literally, I was, oh my God, I'm not understanding a single word in this. I really did not understand a single word. And then I dug into the, internet. I saw some books were available. I read some of the books. I mean, some of my friends who are into technology really supported me and, encouraged me and told me, guided me in the right way. So I read all that, and eventually I kind of got a hang of how things be done. And then finally, I think sometime in 2019, January to March, April, during that time, I put up my website, the first thing. So that's how I think the entire Dentaire kind of started off. And of course, after that, I started posting my Did You Know posters, and then I started the Facebook live sessions on the Facebook group. And then, of course, I started the conversations on the Facebook group. And somehow one thing led to another and it kept happening. And then I should really say I was so fortunate, because whenever I approach anybody, whether it was like you or any of my seniors, any of my teachers, any of my friends, nobody has ever refused. They were all so considerate. They were all so amazing. They immediately pitched in and said, Rekha, I think this is required. Dental health awareness among people is definitely required. Everybody pitched in, wholeheartedly, and they have also been contributing to making these programs happen. So I think I'm lucky.
No, that's wonderful to know. I mean, I think it is so nice to know that a dentist making up a website. So, it's not about the area that you are getting into, but it is your zeal, your inner power, your will to achieve your dream that you have thought of, and to give it a shape in practice. So I think you are a very amazing person with such a positive motivation. So I think yes,
No, but
yes,
I think all of the dentists, are real experts, because the amount of subjects we study under dentistry, physics, chemistry, metallurgy,
absolutely,
marketing, finance.
absolutely.
I mean,
That is why I always, yeah, and that is how basically by virtue a dentist is a interdisciplinary person.
yes,
And
yes.
I think if people like you come up more, and we can bring them to the platform of Eclectica, perhaps other people also get motivation. So, Dr. Rekha, I will come to the concluding part of this conversation, and I would like to, being such a on having such an entrepreneurial skill inside you, with such positive vibes that you spread around. I would like to just tell you something, that if you have any message for our viewers, so can you please share with us?
Well, I'm really not sure if I'm so qualified to give gyan or any such thing. But from what I have learned in my life's journey, what I have learned is you have to learn to stay positive. So to be positive is something that you have to cultivate. It is something that you have to very consciously tell yourself and nurture. And of course, the support that you get from your family, friends, and the people around you is the biggest thing. But if you seek help, definitely you will get help. That is something that I have always seen, when you seek help, you definitely get help. So if you are like very determined and you want to achieve something, you can definitely achieve it.
That's true. That's very true. So thank you, Dr. Rekha, for joining Eclectica today. And I think we will have more sessions with you, knowing you as not as a dentist, but knowing you as a person with so many different skills. So thank you for joining. Thank you so much. So that was Dr. Rekha with us, and I think we all got so motivated by seeing her entrepreneurial skills and the way she has pursued to bring Dentaire into practical fruitfulness. So thank you all of you for watching this episode with Dr. Rekha, and I think that we have learned a lot from this session. And see you again in next show with me at Eclectica, the different news. So stay well and stay safe and take care. Bye bye.